I really need a haircut. I'm gonna cut this undercut. It's getting real bad. Hello. Welcome to my weekly update. To the few of you who have started watching my uploads as soon as they come live, I'm sorry, this one's a little bit late today. Usually I film these on Thursday in the afternoon or early evening, and then I edit them and I have them uploaded by the time I go to bed on Friday. However, today was a bit of a day. So this is Thursday evening, the time that I eat my peanut butter and jam. And I'm going to edit it tomorrow, which is Friday, which is today if you're watching this, but it's probably going to be closer to noon, not 6:30 in the morning Mountain Time, like I have been uploading lately. So, full disclosure, this week's been a little bit blah, is probably the best word to put to it. In terms of my exercise goals, I did hit my goal to walk at least 10,000 steps 5 days this past week. I have walked about 7,500 today, and I don't think I'm going to hit 10,000 before I go to bed. So today I did not hit it, but every other day this past week I did. In terms of morning exercises, I worked out Saturday morning. I walked around my house. Monday morning, I walked around my house. This morning, I got up and I just did not want to. I had a bad case of the did not want to this morning, and I did not work out. And I also didn't go to the gym at all this week, and I didn't do any structured workouts. I didn't go to the gym mostly because I kept forgetting to wash my gym masks, so I was like, I can't go to the gym, my masks are dirty. Which is an excuse, but we'll see. One thing that I have really realized the past couple weeks is that I've been having a lot more trouble getting up in the mornings. And I think part of that is down to the fact that I have been putting too much pressure on myself to do too much in terms of morning routine too soon. A lot of the rest of my goals that I have made have been based on things that sort of came organically. Working out in the mornings hasn't really come organically yet. Getting up in the mornings has barely come organically, and then I jumped right to trying to add to that routine, and I think I added too much too soon, and now getting up in the mornings is a challenge because I wake up and there's nothing I'm really looking forward to. I'm just feeling pressured, like I haven't started doing all of my morning things yet, oh no! And then that pressure just made me go, I'm just gonna hit snooze like 5 more times. So, and then every time I hit snooze, there's more pressure and there's more anxiety and more desire to just not do what I wanted to do. So for the next week, I'm backing off of the morning exercise completely because it's not making me happy. It's not serving its purpose. Hopefully at some point I will start working out in the mornings again, but I am mentally, emotionally not at that point right now. I need to focus on getting my morning routine locked down and my sleep schedule locked down before I can start adding things to it. So I need to start being able to get up in the morning at a consistent time before I can start adding things to do after I get up in the morning. So right now my morning routine is getting up and eating breakfast, and anything else is gonna come later, once those two things happen. So in terms of goals for next week, I am going to keep the step goal because that's really easy for me to hit. I probably could have hit 10,000 steps today, but I was feeling blah, so I'm gonna keep it at 5 days because that gives me 1 blah day and 1 rest day if I need to rest. And in terms of other goals, I am going to take a little bit of the focus off of goals in these weekly updates just because I realized that putting out my goals means that I always feel like I need to add to the goals and I'm just pressuring myself to do too much too soon, and that's not really smart goal setting. So I'm going to take a little bit of a step back, focus on my priorities, and not so much on adding goals and adding goals and adding goals, because that's not actually serving me in the long run, and it's making me drop other parts of things that help me to feel mentally healthy and help me to feel like I can be productive in other areas. That's part of why this video is going up late, actually, because like I said, today was a bit of a day. I finally figured out that part of what was going on with like the mood issues that I've been having was down to the fact I've been starting to think in more rigid ways again and getting like should focus. I should work out and getting numbers focused in terms of my eating. I need to eat this many calories and focusing on macros, and I was just adding more things to like really zoom in on and not focusing on my priorities. And my priorities when I started this whole thing were getting a healthy attitude towards food and recovering from binge eating. And I'm not going to manage long-term recovery if I keep just adding things and adding things and adding things, because that's what I've always tried to do, and that is what always has not worked. So I'm taking a step back and I'm really focusing on what has been working this go around, which is focusing on the priorities and taking precautions to make sure I don't get numbers focused and I don't get rigid thinking, because that isn't helpful to me personally. And today I realized that, and I realized that after finally getting out of the house for the first time today and going to buy these lovely lights, which are hanging up behind me because I wanted some twinkle lights. And these ones are actually, you can't really tell. I have some bigger ones that I'm probably going to hang up instead when it gets closer to October, but they're actually pumpkins. So I have some just like white twinkle lights. They're not twinkle lights. They don't twinkle. White fairy lights and some orange pumpkins that are very small, and it's not easy to tell that they're pumpkins. Maybe when I'm watching this as I edit, Editor D will come in and be like, put a title that's like, I can tell they're pumpkins. You just can't tell because the screen that's showing you where you're framed is far away from you. Anyway, I went out to get these, but while I was on my way there to the store, and while I was at the store, and while I was on my way back from the store, I started to get like the case of do not want to that I had this morning started to evolve into a case of the sads. And I almost, on my way home from the store, drove to my sister's house and was like this close to just parking there and being like, I need to hang out because I'm sad. But I didn't, and I went home, and then I texted them, and then I went in and I told my mom I was having a case of the sads, and she's like, well, I was gonna go watch your niece and nephew at your sister's and brother-in-law's house. Do you want to come? And I was like, I guess that's what I need to do to deal with this case of the sads. And as you can tell, probably from how upbeat I seem in this video, that worked. So it's after 9, it's like 9:30 in the evening. It's quite a bit later than I usually film because I was out at my sister's place, and it was great, and it reminded me that sometimes I just need to have a space and time to live my life, and that all of this rigid thinking that I've started to fall back into just a little bit, not enough to notice, isn't helping me set myself up for the long term, because life happens and sometimes I need to do things and sometimes I want to do things. I also had canned tomato soup for dinner tonight instead of the curry that I made yesterday. The curry was delicious, but I just was not looking forward to curry tonight. And so I needed to have a meal that I was like, I am going to satisfy my taste buds instead of my rest of my body and my nutritional needs. So my macros were probably a little weird today, but I turned off macros in Chronometer because I realized that they were making me be a little more numbers focused. And I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to be reasonable and moderate. And yes, I have a calorie goal, but I'm not trying to get fixated on it. And so I turned off macros because I realized I was starting to get a little bit fixated on how much of things I'm getting. So basically all Chronometer is showing me is calories, water, and fiber. And that's it. So yeah, I turned off a lot more numbers in Chronometer than I already had turned off because I realized that I was starting to think in some of my older, more rigid thinking patterns that always made not binge eating a struggle for me. And if I want to eat sustainably, I need to use the numbers as a tool rather than as something to really obsess over. So I turned them off because they were not working as a tool for me the past week or so. Probably just the past week. They kind of stopped working as a tool, so I've turned them off for the time being. But for now, I'm going to stick to just focusing on reasonable portions and focusing on how food makes me feel. I may or may not write that down. I haven't written in my food and mood journal just because I was getting a little too into my feelings. So I need to find that balance right now of like, how does the food make me feel, and being aware of it without, again, zeroing in on it and focusing on it as a detail and trying to modify everything. So yeah, I'm just going a little back to the basics. I've tried a few things and I've realized that I've tried a few too many things too quickly. And so this update is mostly telling you I'm going to be stripping things back a little bit, just talking about high points, low points, maybe a little bit less on sort of really structured goal setting and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that was my week. Some downs and some ups and a lot of emotions, especially today. But yeah, hopefully this next week goes better with stripping things back to the basics and focusing on priorities. And if you want to keep following my journey, I would love it if you subscribed, and if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up for Halloween decorations, even though it's still September. I'll keep them settled until October. In October, I'll put up the big pumpkins. And, oh yeah, I have an Instagram. If you want to follow more of the day-to-day stuff, I post almost every day, either a post or a story, and if you follow, then you'll get notified of the stories. Well, if you follow and you're on Instagram, within a day of me posting a story, you'll know about the stories. So yeah, I hope you liked this video, and I will be back next week, either Tuesday or not until next Friday. I don't really have an idea for a video next Tuesday, so we'll see whether I think of one and whether I put one out. But for sure, next Friday for my 8 weeks in update. Hopefully it's also an 8 weeks binge free update. And I will let you know how this has all gone. Bye! Pro tip, don't breathe saliva.